بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفر ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. قال الله تبارك وتعالى: تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. صدق الله العظيم. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: عجبا لأمر المؤمن إن أمره كله له خير إن أصابته سراء شكر فكان خيرا له وإن أصابته ضراء صبر فكان خيرا له أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. As I begin my talk, I'd like to just remind everyone if they can please come forward to make room for those who are in the back. We have space in the side to my left, the entire hall there. So if it is overfilled here, please come to my left towards that hall. We begin with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him, we seek His assistance. Respected brothers and sisters, today, in this day of so-called postmodernism, where people will start to justify their false beliefs and irrationalities after seeing atrocities and things occurring in the world, it is more important today than ever before that we understand the qudra and the power and the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if we do not understand this wisdom, if we do not understand who Allah is, then questions will start to arise and people will start to bring arguments and theories that will question our faith and the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, why is this happening? Or how could this be allowed? How could all this evil and suffering be allowed to happen? How could this all exist? Or why am I going through this? Or why did God have to do this to me? All of these things are coming because of weakness of faith, weakness of our iman, and because of lack of knowledge of who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really is. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, glorified is He to whom belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. And He is able over all things, the one who has created death and life so that He can see who is the most beautiful in their actions, in their deeds. So the first thing that we understand here is that this life is a test. And when you're taking a test, you don't have all the answers. You don't know. You don't know what's going to be on that test until you really go through it, until you see it. So because you're being tested, you have to go through that test. You have to prepare for that test. And during the test, the teacher does not give the answers. You do not get told what's going to be, otherwise it's not a test. And so today in this world, my respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us in many places in the Quran, لَتُبْلَوُنَّ فِي أَمْوَالِكُمْ وَأَنفُسِكُمْ. You will be tested in your wealth, you'll be tested in your life, you'll be tested throughout. Why all the tests? The question comes. Why all of these tests? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He loves someone, He tests them. And the other reason, or the many reasons, one of them, is so that He may know who is the believer and who is not. Simple. We say we believe. Amantu billah, I believe in Allah. But do we really have that belief in our actions? We are going to be tested for that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, O you who believe, did you think that you would say you believe and we would leave you alone and we would not test you? Do you think that you say you believe in Allah in the last day and you are not going to be tried for that? Of course, we will be tested. There's a test in everything in life. On our daily lives, we see tests. Even if you want to fill out a form, you get tested to see if you're a human being or if you're a robot, just to see that much. So how about life in itself that is so meaningful? How about in that? My respected brothers and elders, in these tests, the more difficult the tests become, the higher the qualifications. The more difficult, the better the outcome, the higher the pay, the higher the qualifications, and so on and so forth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be closer to Him. Allah wants us to get a bigger Jannah and to get higher in the statuses of the life of the hereafter. And so therefore it's not going to come at an easy price. Jannah is not that cheap. And so we will be tested. But at the same time, the message for today is that in every test and struggle of ours, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. Allah is with us in every struggle and every test in our life. We are not alone. In fact, in the entire Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showing His ma'iyyah, His presence, His help, more than with any other type of people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say, Inna Allah ma'al mustaghfirin. Allah is with those who do istighfar. Allah is with those who do fast, and so on and so forth. Allah said, Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. Allah is with those who continuously do good and are patient. And are patient in the sense also that they hope in the reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In every struggle of ours, if we hope in the reward of Allah, that struggle will become very easy. If we rely on ourselves, then very soon a person can lose hope. Very soon a person can just give up. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help is there with those who are struggling and are hoping for reward in Allah. Allah's help is there. And Allah is with those people. And so therefore when a believer gets into difficulty in life, when a believer gets into difficulty with tests, he should not give up. He should go for that test. He should ask Allah to help him in that test. And he should hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward him for the difficulty in that test. And that is why it is not right, it is not permissible for a believer to wish for death. It is not permissible. A believer cannot wish for death and find an escape out and say, you know what, I can't do this. It is haram. The Prophet ﷺ taught the dua. There is a dua we can make, and that is, oh Allah, you take me when you know it is better for me to leave this world, and you keep me so long as this world is better for me. That is the dua we should make. Because we don't know. We don't know the future. We don't know what is good and bad for us, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Sometimes, as Allah says, عَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌّ لَكُمْ. Sometimes you love something and it is really not good for you at all. But that's the difference between the believer and the disbeliever. The one who has no belief in God, to him, and for example, the atheist or anyone who doesn't believe in God, they don't understand the purpose of this life. For them, it's a transitory sense of happiness, that everything should be just all good. It should be all entertainment, just pleasure the whole time. Why should we face some kind of disease? What sense does it make? Doesn't make sense to him. But we know that this life is a test. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought us to achieve a deep internal peace and a deeper meaning. That is to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to recognize Him. But under the person who has no belief in God, he doesn't see any purpose for suffering. He has no purpose. He sees it as it's just wrong. And they become angry and they start challenging God. They start challenging Allah, that how could Allah do this? Al-iyadhu billah. How can He create such evil when we have no say in it, when it's not our fault? That's what they say, because that is all they understand. But that is a very dark hole at the end of the tunnel. This is just a dark place. Because when you have no belief in the life of the hereafter, you have no belief in Allah, then you're putting yourself to you're making it all to yourself. And that is very difficult. So my respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything that is happening. And whatever is happening is in His complete wisdom and in His plan. And that is the believer's right, that he believes in the decree of Allah. He believes that whatever Allah has decreed for me, it is better for me, whether I like it or not. That is pure iman. That is belief that we need to have. If we don't have this, we are going to think, as the shaitan makes us to think, does Allah hate me? Is that why I'm going through all this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must not like me. That is why my life is like this. That is why I'm going through all of this. No. Let us not let the shaitan take over in our thoughts. Everything that we're going through, it is coming from Allah, and He wants us to get closer to Him. Allah loves us. That is why He tests us. And if that wasn't the case, then why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala test the most beloved of all His creations? All of the prophets of Allah. All of the prophets. أَشَدُّ الْبَلَاءِ عَلَى الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. The most tested were who? The prophets of Allah. Did Allah not like them? Of course. That is to show that when Allah loves someone, He puts them to hardship, to trials. But the point of the trial is to make a person come closer to Allah. Because every day is a struggle. Every day is a struggle for us. But the point is, are we getting closer to Allah or are we going further away? Are we becoming more humble or are we becoming more arrogant and turning away from Him? Allah is calling us every day to success. Allah is calling us, but many people ignore that call. Allah is saying, Hayya ala al-falah, come to success, and people are ignoring it. Then who is at fault at the end of the day? Who is at fault at that moment where Allah wants you to come closer? Allah wants you to understand how much He loves you. But that is the issue today. It's that iman, it's the weakness of faith has become so weak that we don't understand and we try to make sense out of everything. We cannot do that. Because the human being only knows so much. We only have the pixel. Allah has the entire picture. We don't understand everything. And we never will. That is the whole thing. Allah is the one who is wise. Allah knows that which we do not know. And we will come to know one day. Sooner or later, on the day of judgment, everyone will come to know what was the plan of Allah and what turned out how. We're willing to wait for it. We are willing to wait till the day of judgment to see what was the wisdom and everything. Today we don't know. But you see, respected brothers and sisters, it is our faith that will make us go ahead. That will keep us firm. That will keep us strong. And our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will let us continue every single day. And that we cannot give up. That we have to keep going. It is that hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we need to have. And that trust in Allah. Most people, they start losing hope because they see everything from the apparent, from the zahir. Whatever apparently doesn't seem right to them, they start to lose hope. They lose their job, that's it. Things start getting shaky. They start to lose their faith. Something happens to the family member, and they, again, all of these things. But these are all situations where a person needs to turn to Allah and understand that Allah is calling to you. Allah wants you to turn to Him, come closer to Him, because this is the point of the test. And understand Allah is the one who has all knowledge. He has all knowledge and all wisdom. The issue is the atheist or the one who doesn't believe in God, he doesn't have access to that knowledge, to that wisdom. And that is what makes him upset. That is what makes him lose his mind. And therefore he comes to a conclusion that it doesn't exist. And as far as mercy is concerned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy is there, then how can all of this happen? Well, that is because, once again, He is all wise also. To us, something that could be wrong, it could be good to someone else. An evil to us could actually be a good to someone else at another time. And that is another long topic in itself. But the problem is, my respected brothers and sisters, that people forget the entire purpose of this life. They forget. When we think that life is an entertainment and that it should be all good, then that is a big issue in itself. That is a huge issue. Allah asks us the question, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا? Did you think you were sent in this world for no reason, in vain? وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ? And you think that you were not supposed to be brought back to us? We came from Allah and we will go back to Allah. And we see that every day people are going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the point here for the intelligent person, for the believer, is to make an effort for that life. Why? مَنْ بَنَى لِهَذِهِ الدُّنْيَا فَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ بَنَى. The one who has built everything for this life, has put all his concentration for his life, he will definitely lose in what he has built. In other words, if a person's entire hope was just for this world, entire result of his efforts was just for this world, then he is in in great loss. He will see that he has lost big time. Right? So, the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not like ours. We don't understand. Allah knows. We do not know. And therefore, everything that is happening in this world, all the suffering, all the difficulties, if we understand that Allah is there with us and Allah will reward us for that, it makes life very easy. And I say this especially to my young brothers and sisters, that understand Allah is there and He will be there for you as long as you call on to Him, as long as you believe in Him. You see, there's a hadith that on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask the servant, "Oh my servant, I became sick. You did not visit me." You say, "Ya Allah, what does that even mean, Ya Allah? How could that be? How could you become sick?" So the one who was in need, the one who was going through sickness, if you had gone and visited him, you would have found me there. You would have seen that I am with those who are suffering. You would have gotten your reward by visiting, by seeing that person. And I was hungry. You did not come and feed me. Ya Allah, how could I? Glory be to you. But in other words, that those who help others, those who are with those who are struggling, but have that faith, Allah is with those people. And those people, their faith becomes stronger and stronger through as many as trials. And at one point, they are ready for anything. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept them firm through all of that, like the people of Palestine, for example. And today, and what is happening in the last few weeks, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep them firm and to keep their iman strengthened and to be an example for the entire ummah. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing those people. It is a test from Allah. We make dua, Allah makes those things easy for us. It is our haram. It is our aqsa. It is in the heart of every believer. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect it. But at the same time understand who is being tested there and for how long have they been tested. But you see from the tongues of those people, even from the child, Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakil. Look at those interviews. Listen to those children. They're not complaining. They're not giving up hope. Their faith in Allah is stronger than ever before because they've understood this. That this is the life that is full of tests and trials and hardships. You can't get everything you want in this life. That is Jannah. Jannah is the place where every wish of yours will be given to you. This world, you cannot get everything that you want. So they understand this, and we need to follow that. And understand عِظَمُ الْأَجْرِ مَعَ عِظَمُ الْبَلَاءِ, that the greater the trial, the greater the reward will be. Right? That will be the greater the reward. We have to have faith though. The faith is the main point. If there is no faith, there is going to be confusion. If there is no iman, there's going to be anger. There is going to be a mix of all of these feelings. But when there's faith, you understand. There's a clear picture. There's a clear picture there. And in the second khutbah, I'll give some examples of what that means. That how the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how they relied on Allah and what was the result. What was the result? That in their struggle, in the most difficult times of theirs when they called unto Allah, how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala respond to them? May Allah give us the true understanding. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. قال الله تبارك وتعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته وأصحابه أبو بكر عمر عثمان وعلي رضي الله عنهم أجمعين. I'd like to announce again, if there's no space, there's space to my left. The whole hall is, there's a lot of space there. If you can please go there. Respected brothers and sisters, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, at the time when he was, as the Quran describes him, fatan, when he was in his youth, in his teenage years, he had gone through many, many trials. And one of those trials was at a point where the entire city, all of his people, even his father, was there. And what were they doing? They were throwing him into a fire. They were trying to throw him into a fire. Imagine that. Many people think they're going to a lot. But imagine at the point where the entire city is there, and now they're going to throw you into a fire. And why are they going to throw you? Because the fire is so huge and big that they can't even come near that fire. And they have to throw him in there. Now at this time, in this difficulty, what was he to do? He was a young boy, but he had the faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had that iman. He had that trust in Allah. And the words that he said are very powerful words that every single believer, every Muslim should be saying today. Should be on the tongues of every one of us. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. One is for plural, one is singular. Hasbi Allah, Allah is enough for me. Hasbunallah, Allah is enough for us. So either way you say it, that is what it is. And this is what he said. They're throwing him into the fire, and he sees there's no way out. Everyone is against him. Literally, they're all watching him. They want to see him burn. And he is there, and he is being thrown into a fire, and he's not trying to run. He doesn't have any weapons. He has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he called unto Allah, and he says, Allah is enough for me. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. And he's the best of protectors and those who look after affairs. He is the one who's going to help me. That is his words. And some narrators say that even Jibreel alayhi salam came while he was being thrown into that fire and said, I am here for you. And he asked me, do you need me? He said, I do not need you. Allah is enough for me. Even you, O angel Jibreel, I don't need. I need Allah. And what happened? Allah is subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you have Allah on your side, you have everything. When Allah is on your side, you don't need to worry about anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Anbiya, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. We said to the fire, O fire, كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا. Become cool and peaceful for Ibrahim, for my Ibrahim. Subhanallah. Become cool and peaceful. That fire that has the quality to burn, now it's becoming cold and it's becoming peaceful. Because Allah is the owner of all things. Allah can do what He wishes. Ibrahim alayhi salam is in that fire, and he says this is the best time he had in his life. And he walked out of that fire to their surprise without a scratch. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helping His believer. That is Allah helping those who trust in Him, who call on to Him in the times of difficulty. And this was the same dua Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam recited when all of the people in Ahzab, when all of the armies in the trench, they all surrounded him. These were the exact same words. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. And this is what we need to recite today. And as I conclude, I'd like to say 2-3 points. Number one is that problems are not permanent. All of the difficulties in this life, no matter how much difficulty you might be going through, it is temporary, just like we are temporary. We are here for a few days, right? And just like that, our problems are only temporary. That's the first point. The second point is no calamity, no difficulty will come through you except Allah is forgiving a sin. Allah is forgiving a sin because of that. Hatta shawkatu yushak. Even to the point where a thorn pricks a believer, a little thorn, if it pricks you and you get hurt by it, Allah is forgiving our sin through that. Even that little. Even that much, Allah is forgiving. So imagine. And the final thing is that any type of difficulty in this world is nothing compared to the difficulty of the hereafter, of the akhirah. Anything. In fact, and I'll end with this beautiful hadith that I've heard my entire life that makes me, it puts ease, it gives me so much hope and so much understanding of this life. And that is on the day of Qiyamah, on the day of resurrection, when all of the people will be gathered. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call out a person. This person will be the one who had all of the luxuries in this life. All of the things in this world were basically given to him, spoon-fed to him. He has never seen any difficulty. He never seen any hardship. He never seen any issues, any problems. All he had was fun and just, mashallah. That person will be brought. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell the angel that go and show him just a glimpse. And in one word, in one of the narrations, the hadith, the word basically in English would be to dip. Yani go and dip him into Jahannam, into the fire of hell, or to show him a glimpse for just a second and bring him back. And when he's shown that and he comes back, Allah will ask him, what do you say? He will say, I've never seen any goodness in my life. That face he will have after seeing a glimpse of that Jahannam, his face and his posture will be changed. He will say, I've never seen happiness. I don't know what luxury was. I don't know what comfort is after seeing that. Similarly, a person will be brought who had gone through all the difficulty in this world, all the hardships, disease, poverty, you name it, he's been through it. Never has he seen any, any goodness. He'll be brought, and that person will be shown, he'll be told to go and show him a glimpse of paradise, of Jannah. He'll be shown this glimpse, just a little bit, just like that. And as he comes back, that happiness, that joy on this person's face. And Allah will ask, and he will say, I did not ever go through any pain. I don't know what hardship is. I don't know any difficulty. I've never seen it. He'll forget. These people will forget what happened in this world because of the insignificance of this life, because of the shortness of this life. They'll forget about it. They'll have no idea. Why? Because the true reward, the true happiness, the place where desires could be fulfilled is in the hereafter. And the true humiliation, the true disgrace, and the actual difficulty will be that on the Day of Judgment. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save us from the difficulties on that day and to protect us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us that Jannah and to grant us everlasting honor and respect and joy and happiness. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma ghfir lana wa lil mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka sami'un qareebun mujibud da'awat. Allahumma alif bayna qulubina wa aslih dhata baynina. Allahumma ahdina subul as-salam wa jannibna al-fawahisha ما ظهر منها وما بطن. اللهم أصلح لنا شأننا كله. اللهم أصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. وصلى الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا واعتدلوا. Please make sure your heels on the line. Make sure the lines are straight. Allahu Akbar. Bismillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We have a couple of announcements. If we can just give a few minutes Firstly, we have a brother from Al Furqan Foundation. He's going to give an appeal for just 2-3 minutes. If you can just give us your time. Right before he comes, I just want to say August 4th, we have a program with Sheikh Jamal Diwan here. That's a Friday night. And before that, we have basketball with myself, Sheikh Jamil, Sheikh Jamal. For all the youth, if they want to join us, anybody wants their ankles broken, please be here at 6 o'clock. Sheikh Jamal will be here, and the topic will be, can we be friends? Basically, gender relations. Is it okay to have a friend of the opposite gender, especially in school and other places? We're going to talk all about that. You really want to be here, all the young brothers and sisters, August 4th, Friday night, 8 o'clock, or basically after Maghrib, inshallah. I don't want to take the brothers' time, so here's the appeal.
Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah.